Welcome to Inside the Owls Burrow. I'm Frank Fort alongside the Haggerty family head football coach Zach Kitley. Coach, no game last week, had the bye week, did have 3 practices. What was the focus of those practices as you now get ready for Tulsa?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, you're in week 10 here of the full season with your bye weeks and all that. We got to get guys healthy. So we had a lot of guys just banged up and nothing too crazy, but just some guys that have been playing through some stuff that you don't want to play through. So priority number 1 is getting those guys back to 100% if we can. So we're trying to get those guys back to 100%. And then really, we're still in the developmental phase, we feel like, with some of our young guys. And so we had a lot of developmental practice. We actually scrimmaged some of those young guys a little bit, full tackle, to kind of see what these guys can do. And, we're at that 4-game threshold now. And so there's some guys that we are maybe hanging on to a red shirt with that we're going to maybe see what they can do these last 4 games, see if they can help us go win some games.
I was going to bring that up. You did have the full contact scrimmage, guys who haven't played a lot of snaps or even no snaps maybe. How beneficial is that? Because most of those guys are giving you scout team looks during the week and not running our system to be able to run our offense and defense.
Yeah, it's huge. Again, we've got some really young players that we really love. Our developmental group is what we call them, and we feel really good about that nucleus of those guys. And so for them to be out there and again, be running more of our stuff and getting back into our base calls offensively and defensively. We did some special team stuff as well to see, hey, which of these guys could come out and maybe play some special teams for us these last 4 games. And so just getting those guys going and getting them back to some real football, because on Saturdays they may just be playing a handful of plays on special teams, maybe none on the offensive, defensive side. So just getting them more live reps, if you will, I think was huge for those guys.
Does the off week give you and your staff a chance to self-scout and analyze and see what's going right and maybe make adjustments to what hasn't gone quite as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, anytime you have bye weeks, in the season, you always want to self-scout yourself and see, hey, is there any tendencies? I feel like most coaches, I feel like myself, like I'm not that naive. I know where we're deficient and where we've been good and where we got to get better. So it's more of sitting down and really trying to attack that on how can we get better in those areas that we haven't been great in, and so, for us, clearly, that's been rushing offense and rushing defense. We've got to get better there. Red zone scoring touchdowns on both sides of the ball, we've got to get better. Penalties, we got to clean up some penalties, and then the big one, as you know, has been the turnover margin. So really just sitting back down and circling those 3 to 4 items right there and trying to figure out, moving forward these last 4 weeks, what can we do to really try to improve on those? And again, if I think we can improve in those areas, there's a chance that, we could look up and win these last 4 games.
When you look at what's happened through 8 games, what your eyes tell you and what the numbers analytics tell you, are those in alignment, or are you seeing maybe 2 different things?
Yeah, I mean, there is some, and there's always some that don't look the same. Clearly you look at your record, you're 3-5, and you definitely, I definitely don't think that we're a 3-5 team. I think we're better than that. Again, I think a lot of it comes back to the turnover margin. I think if you actually look at, we're dead last in the country in turnover margin, and we're 3-5. I think a lot of coaches would look up, and if you're dead last in turnover margin, you may be 0-8 at this point, just because that's always the number 1 stat you look at the end of the year of where are we. So if we could find a way to really clean that up, especially over these next 4 weeks, again, I think we can win every game. And I think if you look at that sole stat by itself, you take that away, if you just evened them up and not even gained us a whole lot more, who knows what these games look like. I mean, you're looking at, again, you go back to the FIU game. I mean, we had all the turnovers. They had 1, last 2 weeks ago against Navy, we had 3 turnovers. They only had 1. When you get into those battles, it's really hard to win.
Offense, you have 23 more first downs on the season. Your offense is averaging 17 more yards. Moving the ball hasn't been an issue. Has finishing drives been not up to the standard that you want to see?
100%. Yeah, it's all about putting the ball in the end zone, and especially when you get in the red zone. That's our money area. And again, I look back at most of that, and I feel like most of that's just self-inflicted wounds. Again, I feel like I've harped on that so much. I say it all the time, but I really feel like we've got some good calls on. We've got guys in the right spots to do it, but we go backwards, or we miss a read here, or and again, I'm not naive, but there's some calls I want back as well from my standpoint. But you look at South Florida and Navy, you get inside the red zone twice in very makeable short yardage scenarios, and you go backwards because of a false start that puts you into a tougher situation. We end up getting 12 points there. You could look up, that could be 28 points instead of 12. And in this league, against everybody you play, you got to put the ball in the end zone. Field goals aren't going to win you games, and we know that, and it's something we've been harping on. We got to continue to really try to get better at these last 4 weeks.
Well, this week the Tulsa Golden Hurricane come into town, a 3 p.m. kickoff in Flagler Credit Union Stadium. They're 0-5 in league play, but they are no pushover. Lost a 1-point game to Temple 2 weeks ago. They also had a bye last week. We don't talk about opponents' tight ends very much, but when you look at them, number 80, Brady Foley's their second leading receiver, has 6 touchdowns. They've also lined him up as a wildcat back, and he's has a rushing touchdown. Is that a guy particularly in the red zone you got to pay a lot of attention to?
Yeah, not just in the red zone, just everywhere. You know, he's a really, really good player, big dude. I mean, he's a monster. I think he's listed at maybe like 6'6", 250. But he's kind of there. I feel like, you know, they got a young quarterback. And I feel like when you have that tight end, it's that big target for you. That's almost maybe his safety blanket a little bit. So we've got to be tuned in at all times at where number 80 is. But man, they're in a similar situation than we are. You know, they're new head coach, new program. They're trying to build everything and get it going. I think that Coach Lamb's done a really good job. They play extremely hard. You mentioned it. It's not like they're getting blown out really in some of these games. They're battling and they're playing well. And I feel like they're kind of hitting their stride a little bit, especially offensively with that young quarterback. He's getting better every game. And so, I feel like with 2 weeks of preparation for us, he's going to be even better. So we've got to come out. And again, we've got to try to rattle him a little bit and keep them on their toes. And then again, offensively, when the defense gets us the ball back, we've got to go put it in the end zone.
And what is their defense? What can we expect from them?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're one of the more talented defensive lines in the league. They've got 2 or 3 really good edge rushers that can really cause some issues. I think they're gonna probably play that 4 down front and try to get after us on the edge a little bit with some too high look, especially early. And again, if I'm looking at it, I'm saying these guys are struggling to run the football. So why would I just let them throw it over my head all day? Let's make them run the ball. They got a mid-season All-American cornerback in number 7. He's got 5 interceptions on the year already. So again, they kind of put him on an island a little bit and let him play man-to-man. But I think they're gonna come out and I think their defensive front's their strength. And so we're gonna have to be ready on the offensive line to create some holes for the running game. We got to get the running game going more. We all know that's been one of our Achilles heels offensively, and I think if we can do that, that'll open up everything else.
Coach, let's have a great game. We'll talk to you next week.
Let's do it. Go Owls.
Coming up next, safety Jaden Sweeney sits down for this week's Get to Know You edition of Pads Off. That's coming your way next on Inside the Owls Burrow.
At Baptist Health Orthopedic Care, you don't have to be a pro athlete to be treated like one. We use the latest techniques to give you an accurate diagnosis, along with surgical and non-surgical solutions, no matter who you are. Our team of specialists will do everything to help you perform at your best again. And with personalized recovery and rehabilitation plans, you'll be back to living your life to the fullest in no time. Welcome to Pro-Level Orthopedic Care.
What if every use of your debit card turned spare change into something meaningful, like growing your savings and supporting local community causes? With Flagler Credit Union's Impact Checking with Everyday Change, your spare change can have big impact. Each transaction can be rounded up to grow your savings and support nonprofits that provide meals, shelter, and essential services locally. Make an impact in your life and in your community. Open your Impact Checking account today. Insured by NCUA, official credit union of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
The FAU MBA Sport Management program really stood out to me because it was in South Florida. It was an area that I knew, but not only that, it was top in the world, top in the nation. And it was in an area that is really very rich in sports, between professional sports, tournaments, just everything. There's professional athletes that live here. There's really all facets. It was an easy decision for me to make that call to go to FAU because I could get that mix of executive education and that focus in professional sports.
As one of America's top 100 public universities, Florida Atlantic transforms South Florida's strengths into global possibilities. From modernizing healthcare and harnessing ocean energy to unlocking the mysteries of the human brain and building the structures of tomorrow. At the cutting edge of innovation and winning at the highest echelon of intercollegiate athletics. This is Florida Atlantic University.
We're back on Inside the Owls Burrow, presented by Baptist Health. Getting to know your Owls away from the field is the focus of our Pads Off series. This week, we sit down with safety Jaden Sweeney. Our guest in Pads Off this week is safety Jaden Sweeney from Birmingham, Alabama, normally enemy territory, but you're an Owl now. And he has his pads on for picture day, even though this is pads off. All right, let's go. Favorite NFL player or team?
Right now, I'd say favorite NFL team is the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay. Do you have a favorite player or no?
I wouldn't say I got a favorite player.
All right, if you could learn to play a musical instrument, which one would it be?
It'll be a piano for sure.
If you had unlimited funds to build a dream house, what would that house look like?
Okay, I have the basketball court in the backyard, acres, like 18 acres of land, growing crops on the land, big houses, big rooms in the house, a lot of bathrooms, big garage, cars full of garage, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A slide in the house, like a water park, really, for real.
A water park.
I throw that down, you know what I'm saying, if I had it.
And you said cars. What's your dream car?
A Benz truck or AMG.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could do one crazy activity like running with the bulls in Spain or skydiving, something like that, you know you'd be perfectly safe afterwards, what would you do?
I'd probably say flip off a building or something, like a real tall building, because I know how to flip. So I'll probably just flip off the building, probably pull a parachute or something.
Do you have a guilty pleasure TV show or one you're a little bit reluctant to tell your teammates you want?
If you got a girlfriend, you know what I'm talking about, and that's baddies.
Baddies?
That's baddies.
Okay. What sport outside of football do you wish you were really good at?
Baseball. I mean, I ain't gonna say really good. I wish I would have pursued it more because I played everything when I was younger. I was an All-American in baseball too. I just didn't pursue it past high school, so if I would have pursued it, then yeah.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Cookies and cream, hands down.
Hands down? No question. If you were a dog, what breed of dog would you be?
I would be a mix of a Rottweiler, German Shepherd, and maybe a Husky.
You'd have to go in the lab for that one.
Yeah, you feel me? A mix of something.
If you were principal of your high school and you could eliminate one subject from the curriculum, what subject would you toss out?
Math for sure. A lot of people probably said math.
Yes, they do. All right, final question for Jaden Sweeney. What 3 words would you use to describe yourself?
Oh, he nice. He a dog, and I'm aggressive.
Okay, so you're both ends of the spectrum there. You're nice and you're aggressive.
Yeah, I gotta give it both parts.
All right, Jaden, thanks for being with us and taking the pads off.
Yes, sir, thank you.
This is the 25th season of Florida Atlantic football, and we are honoring that by revisiting some great games and accomplishments. This week, we flash back to the 2017 season and a record-tying 3-interception game by safety Jalen Young against Marshall.
Florida Atlantic 3-down lineman showing pressure from the linebackers. Litton out of the gun, has the football, has time, steps up, winds up, lofts it to the right, and it's intercepted away from Marshall receiver's hand. Jalen Young has blockers down the near side 30. He cuts up the field at the 20, and he's tackled along the near sideline. Florida Atlantic has forced another interception. Field play fake. Litton steps on the pocket, pump fake. He'll loft it over the middle. Intercepted at the 40-yard line. He put it right into the arms of Jalen Young, who has his second pick tonight. Florida Atlantic gets 3rd interception of the game. Litton has the football. Litton steps up. Litton looks right, launches it deep down the right sideline, and it's intercepted. Litton's 4th pick of the night. It is hauled in by FAU. Jalen Young has the hat trick, his 3rd INT of the night. 2:30 left to go, and Florida Atlantic is on the verge of bowl eligibility.
Coming up next, it's been a breakout year for receiver Ja'Shawn Platt, a year after taking a voluntary redshirt 4 games into the 2024 season. That story straight ahead on Inside the Owls Burrow. You're watching Inside the Owls Burrow, presented by Baptist Health. This season, wide receiver Ja'Shawn Platt is showing what many people thought he could become when he was recruited out of high school. That is, an explosive and productive player, currently ranked 11th in the country in all-purpose yards per game.
Fakes the handoff, Campbell. Fancher gonna run left, throws wide open, and caught! 8 yards deep in the end zone, touchdown! FAU! Ja'Shawn Platt was able to leak free.
You catch a touchdown pass in the opener at Michigan State. and then after 4 games you decided to redshirt. Why'd you make that decision?
Just where I was at, like in my career and stuff. I had last year, before I redshirted, I would have had last year and this year, so this year would have been my last year. And I just felt that it was right to make that decision to get that year back, so I can potentially, after this year, even have another year after this one. So that was the main reason why.
I think a lot of people, when they saw that, probably figured, well, he's going to transfer. Why'd you decide to stay?
Because it wasn't entirely about like the school or anything. It was just where I was at in my career, and just felt like it was a good decision to get that year back. And when I seen Coach Kitley and like his offense that he was bringing, it definitely had a big part of why I stayed.
I don't know everything that happened with him before the last few years, but I think just the change in scheme, the change in energy, some of the change in just how we approach certain things, he resonates with it and it clicks with him. Because again, you know, we've heard the same thing when I first got this job. Hey, this kid's super talented. He's just never been able to put it together. And since the first day I met him, he's one of the hardest workers on the team. He's a really good football player. Again, I think he just needed an opportunity to showcase who he is, and I think that he's done a really good job this year. Still, again, I think he's a guy that has a lot of room to still improve too. And you know, and I think if he sat here right now, he'd tell you this exact same thing. So I think the sky's the limit for that young man, and again, he's been a great person for this football team.
Velkamp, who has the shotgun snap, 3-step drop, lines up, throws it deep, down the middle, has Platt caught at the goal line, and he walks into the end zone. Touchdown, FAU! 43 yards to Platt in stride. He just raced by the safety.
Well, this year clearly has been a breakout year for you, so your decision seems to have paid off. You've caught touchdown passes, you've run for a touchdown, you've had a lot of success on kick returns. What do you think has been the factors that have led to you having success this year?
Just trusting God for knowing that's God's plan. Like even last year when I was redshirting, just even when I redshirted and just staying down, just working on my craft, trusting the process, trusting my work, and just having the confidence to come back this year, make plays. That was really one of the biggest things.
What has personal maturity meant to your success?
I mean a lot. Just how you respond to things, like respond to adversity. Just something goes wrong, just put your head down and going back to work. Just things in that nature. And just through college, I matured a lot. Like since being a freshman, like just understanding how college football is ran, just how it goes, things of that nature.
I want to talk specifically about kick returns. When the ball's in the air, take me through your thought process.
I mean, everything definitely is slowed down, like, because I see the ball kick and then it's in the air and it's just up there. It's up there for a little while. My main thing is just focusing on the ball, like make sure I secure the ball and make sure I catch it first. And after that, it's just using my talents and whatever I see, just go. That's the main thing.
Once you do secure the ball, what's your first look? What are you looking for?
I'm really just, as soon as I catch it, we always have a certain play with side of return we're going to. So I'll mainly be looking at that side, but it's really, I'm just going off of instincts. Like I'll give a scan of the field, see who's coming down fast, see who's running slower, and just seeing where I want to hit at. But after that, it's just all instincts after that. To just hit it and go is one of the best things, because you don't want to give them guys time to get off blocks and stuff. So I think definitely using speed, one of the best things to do.
You've come close to housing it a couple of times, and I know it takes all 11, but what in your mind is it going to take to finally break one?
Yeah, I would say it takes all 11, but I think it's my job to make them, not make them look better, but with my talent, I gotta see creases and I gotta be running full speed through them, because they can have their block, and if I'm not running full speed and I slow down, then it might make their block way harder and longer. So really just, I think it's gonna come. I just gotta keep trusting it, keep hitting it. I think it'll come.
2/3 of the way through the season, you're in the top 20 in all-purpose yards in college football.
Just doing what I do every week, just come and make plays. I don't really think about that too much. Like I said, take it game by game. Just trying to have the best game yet, better than the last one every game, and I know all that'll come with it.
Coming up, we visit with cornerbacks coach Antonio Finellis back home in Palm Beach County, working for his hometown team. That's next on Inside the Owls Burrow.
Do you need a personal injury lawyer? You need a personal injury lawyer?
Every family has dreams, a vacation, a new car, or a rainy day fund. With a Boost savings account from Flagler Credit Union, your dreams can become reality. Earn up to 3.5% while enjoying no minimum balance, no monthly fees, and easy access to your funds. Whether you're saving for life's big moments or everyday expenses, our Boost savings account helps you reach your goals faster. Ready to take the first step? Open a Boost savings account today and start boosting your future at Flagler Credit Union.
To win at this game, you have to put in the work, know the game plan, and execute. At Duffy's, our game is always on.
My current role at the Heat is Senior Vice President of Brand and Chief Creative Officer. In my role, I oversee all of the creative function, including design, branding, copywriting, including uniforms and merchandise. I think what I love most about the NBA Sport program was the combination of real hands-on practical curriculum, solving today's business problems, having high-level discussions around what was happening in the world of sports business.
Shout out to the Owl men's soccer team. With a 0-0 draw against Tulsa last Sunday, the Owls earned a share of the American Conference regular season title, their first since 2007. Congratulations to head coach Joey Worthen, his staff, and all the players. The Owls will have the second seed for the American Conference tournament. This is Inside the Owls Burrow, presented by Baptist Health. I'm Frank Fort. One of the new coaches on the staff this season is cornerbacks coach Antonio Finellis. He is a Boca Raton native before his playing career took him away to the Big Ten, but he's returned home in 2025. You're actually a Boca Raton native. Was it a no-brainer to take this job when it was offered?
Oh, without a doubt. You know, my mom had been saying for years, come back home, like a college coaching doesn't work like that. So when this opportunity presented itself, it was no-brainer, obviously, but super excited, not only for me, but for my family too as well.
You played at Wisconsin, you were a 4-year letter winner there, 2 Big Ten titles. Are those the things that stand out the most to you about your career there, winning those championships?
I would say, you know, obviously those are awesome moments, but just like that brotherhood, the bond you share with the guys and what it took to actually get there. And, you know, all me and the guys I played with, especially in the back end, we all still got a group message to this day and stay in touch with one another.
You had 9 career interceptions. Does one play or a moment stand out?
No, I wouldn't say one play. I would say a game. You know, we played Ohio State when they were ranked #1. They came into Camp Randall and we beat them, and then that was the first year we went to the Rose Bowl. So I would say that game definitely, you know, was one of the highlights of my career in college.
You played under Brett Bielema, who later hired you as a defensive backs coach at Illinois. What kind of influence has he had on your coaching career?
No, he was great, man. He's always been a mentor and, you know, just giving me feedback on what to do, what not to do, and just kind of following his path and, you know, how he started from a GA and where it's gotten him today. You know, as a player, I always told myself, like, long hours, I don't see myself doing it. And then after I finished playing, I was like, all right, what's the next best thing for me? So I went out, worked for my wife's dad in California for a bit, and I was like, this quite isn't for me. And, you know, Paul Chris got the head job at Wisconsin, gave me the opportunity to go back and be a GA, and then the rest was history after that.
How do I know if I can get vertical here? It all depends on where that ball carrier is at. Y'all get what I'm saying?
What's the hardest thing for a young corner to learn?
One of the hardest things for him to learn is just how to be consistent day in and day out, and just understanding the situational football. You know, in high school, you go from see ball, get ball, you versus the best guy, just be a better athlete. And now
You got to understand what time is it in the game. You know, is it 2 minutes? Is it the team being backed up? What could they do there? So that's some of the things I say is pretty tough for a young guy coming in trying to play.
And I guess one of the great skills to have as a corner is amnesia.
I always preach short-term memory loss. You know, you can never get too high, never get too low, but understand that, like, all right, this play happened, I got to move on to the next. I still want to learn from it, but I want to move on to the next play.
So if the fans can get to know you a little bit away from the field, favorite NFL player, either past or present, or team, if you prefer?
Grew up in Florida, obviously. Always loved the Dolphins, and then, you know, got a chance to play for the Colts, so been a Colts fan. But I just love watching good football at the end of the day.
And do you have a favorite football movie?
I'm gonna say Friday Night Lights. That's a really good movie. You know, I always go back and watch it every now and then, but just, you know, Texas is big on their tradition and how they do football, and whole town shuts down, so I always love watching that movie. So
That's our show for this week. Thanks for watching. I'm Frank Fort. We'll see you right here next week on Inside the Owls Burrow. This has been a presentation of Playfly.
Every family has dreams, a vacation, a new car, or a rainy day fund. With a Boost Savings account from Flagler Credit Union, your dreams can become reality. Earn up to 3.5% while enjoying no minimum balance, no monthly fees, and easy access to your funds. Whether you're saving for life's big moments or everyday expenses, our Boost Savings account helps you reach your goals faster. Ready to take the first step? Open a Boost Savings account today and start boosting your future at Flagler Credit Union.
At Sage Dental, you'll experience a modern, family-friendly approach to dentistry. From pediatric dentistry and orthodontics to cleanings and oral surgery, we've got the latest technology to provide your family the best dental care all in one place. And for a limited time, get a free new patient exam and x-rays, plus a free ProClean Sonic toothbrush at your first hygiene visit. Book your appointment today at mysagedental.com. Sage Dental. Open up and say awesome.
At Baptist Health Orthopedic Care, you don't have to be a pro athlete to be treated like one. We use the latest techniques to give you an accurate diagnosis, along with surgical and non-surgical solutions, no matter who you are. Our team of specialists will do everything to help you perform at your best again. And with personalized recovery and rehabilitation plans, you'll be back to living your life to the fullest in no time. Welcome to Pro Level Orthopedic Care.
Ready for a new level of thrill? Introducing the first ever Acura ADX at Phil Smith Acura. The premium sport crossover that's engineered to excite with a turbocharged engine that's always ready to perform. Style, performance, technology. The all-new Acura ADX has it all. Visit philsmithacura.com to discover the turbocharged ADX today. The FAU Owls are driven to win because they are driven by us.